Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. It's October 2nd. It's a TDISS, today in sports Sprapps. That's what it sounds like. There's so many sports to go over, so let's go over all of them. Let's start with baseball. There's a play-in game. We have the three games that happened over the last 2 days, including tonight's game, Colorado versus the Cubs. Apparently, they took my advice and went with Freeland instead of John Gray because that's what leads to a positive percentage for Colorado tonight. Also likes the line, which is positive. All right, poor Cubbies. This is predicting a Colorado win. As the game goes on and these pitchers start to change, we get some stats, it's going to be really, really close. As you can see, the score prediction doesn't really know what to do here either. So if you had somebody you have to go with, I'd say go with Colorado. The file's been on fire lately. Lester has shown some chinks in his armor also in the last few months. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. So we'll also lay out the rest of the playoffs, I guess, tomorrow as we do more baseball. Let's talk about football. So I posted a video last night, talked about the Monday night game. And here's what I love about generating algorithms in Excel is that people say, hey, Ken, what's going on, man? You're not taking into account home or away. What's the story? All your teams, you had games yesterday where you liked. What did we like? We liked these teams that got destroyed. We liked the Jets. We liked Miami. Guess what? Miami was away. Tampa Bay was away. The Jets were away. This was a problem. So they're like, you got to take into account home and away. Well, here's what I did. What I decided to do was take a look at the points that each team is scoring when they're at home and the points that they are scoring when they're away. And also looking at the points they're giving up when they're home and looking at the points they're giving up when they're away. And I compared the two and created a ratio. Obviously, Arizona hasn't scored any points when they're away, so we had to jerry rig the ratio of two here. So like how much more, it's called the home offensive score amplifier. How much more are they scoring when they are at home versus when they're away? How much are they, withholding or dropping the other team's offense, stopping them from scoring points? How much more effective are they at doing that when they are at home? That's what I wrote here. I put these ratios in here and I brought them into the formula for our predictive scoring. And I cheated a little bit here because I'm including this current week 4 point totals in this equation. So that's why it looks a lot closer to the final score than it would normally. But even if we changed, just looked at the first 3 weeks, it was still much better. So this is going to help. So what it does is it changes our projected scores. We actually would have had the Patriots over the Dolphins. I mean, like I said, we're including some current point totals from this week in here to come up with that number. But let me show you what it would look like without that. Actually, there's a picture I created, but I want to show you how I do it. We're looking at, in this formula here, you see that in this formula, there's this less than 5 at the right of the formula. What that's talking about is that's saying only include all the games that these teams have played before week 5, so week 1 through 4. Instead of week 5, we can say we don't want to include week 4, so only games less than week 4. And we can replace that. When we replace that, what happens is all of our current matchups and scores actually change. For example, not looking at week 4's result of the Patriots beating Miami, we did not predict that the Patriots would have beat Miami, but it was better than our original score before we incorporated the home and away advantage. So like what you would see here is we're a little better with the Rams Vikings game this way. We still lose the Patriots game, but now that they have more stats, you can see that Patriots would be predicted to win going forward. Houston game, interesting. So we still predict Houston. I like that. Although something happens when we add the next game in and it doesn't predict Houston because Houston did win. That was one of our nice ones. Well, look at this. It predicts Atlanta puts up 69 points. That's because Atlanta at home has been scoring more heavily. However, Cincinnati won this game, and our original percentage has Cincinnati winning. So we have to look as we get more stats in here how this will work better. The Packers game would have been fine. This is interesting. So the predicted score would have had the Cowboys winning 23-22 and they won 26-24. That's something incredible because as you can see, the original prediction I had a screwy score of the Lions having 24 and the Cowboys having 12. This adjustment for home and away is great to have that work properly. We still have the Jets beating the Jags, unfortunately, but that changes when we add in week 4. We also still had Tampa Bay beating the Bears, so we would have lost that game. We would have had the Titans over the Eagles. That's surprising. We would have had Arizona over the Seahawks. Oh God, it's because there weren't enough games of Arizona at home versus away. Their multiplier is probably not even 2. As a matter of fact, if we change that multiplier to 1, yeah, we should make it 1. I'll show you what I mean, what I'm talking about here. Arizona's multiplier, when Arizona has, you can't divide by 0. And let me see how that affects things. Yep, see, your Seattle score would have been 8-5 if we adjusted appropriately. So Seattle would still have been predicted to win. So that's good. Cleveland and the Raiders, we still would have had Cleveland. That's pretty interesting, and better pick on the Chargers and Niners score. Likes the Saints almost perfectly. That's great. Would have liked the Steelers huge at home over the Ravens. So here's one where we would have lost doing it this way, and it's still like the Chiefs. So there's some give and take, but I definitely like what it's doing. Let's go back and set this up for this week. Oh no, I gotta freeze this. I just pressed the wrong button in Excel. Give me a second. Whenever you do this, just press Control Z or undo. I just pasted something. It's going to take forever. I find a way to break Excel. That's what I do for a living. So I just break Excel all the time. Give it a minute. Anyway, when we adjust that back to include the first 4 weeks instead of just first 3 weeks, it will be set for the upcoming week. Let's undo that. Okay. What we're doing here is we are Control F, which is fine. We're replacing what was 4s to look at everything before week 5 as we set this up for week 5. It's going to make 128 replacements when it does it right, because that's 4 times the number of teams, I guess, in here. And we go back, and you can see that our scores look even better because we're now including week 4, like we have the Pats over. This is weird because it flips on the Houston-Indianapolis game for some reason. But anyway, we'll be updating this more. I will be updating it before Thursday. If you want to subscribe, you can see this thing's getting really incredible. And we're going to start keeping track because for the week 4, where we really weren't keeping track yet, we ended up going 9-6. And we're up to 60% there. We've got, we're starting to keep track here in week 5. We're going to do lines. We can look at all of our team of references and how they're doing. You can see that teams that we like, Chargers, Green Bay, Denver, we only took them once. Giants, Dolphins, Redskins. We'll see. I think there's a big Monday night game for the Redskins. So we'll talk more about week 5 while hopefully doing a video from Foxborough, it looks like, on Thursday night and talk about those games. So that was baseball. That was football. How about hockey? What? Yep. I was browsing around for hockey because we have a hockey season starting on Wednesday. Not going to be able to release any picks for Wednesday's games because we need to have previous stats from something in order to put in there. So I'm going to have to wait till there's at least a game of stats before I predict anything. So you're probably not going to see anything until Thursday or Friday. Cannot wait for this. We're going to be doing game. I was looking over dailyfaceoff.com, actually, is a place where you can get lineup combinations. They have added a new element where they're kind of creating a contribution score for a player, which is something I'm going to be working on here. Goals, assists, points, penalty minutes, plus minus, power plays information. We're going to be adding a lot. Daily Faceoff is doing a rating by player and also by line. So they're doing line combinations. I really like what they're doing. We're going to do our own version of that by player and comparing things as well to come up with our point predictions and our win predictions. So we are just out of control with Sprapps and Colorado, I guess, tonight. It's probably going to be the Patriots over Indianapolis on Thursday. We're going to have a file coming. If you want to subscribe to the football file, go to cambramer.com. If you want to subscribe to the hockey file, that's going to be released on Thursday. Look for the links. Baseball's free because it's playoffs, so free for everybody. And we're just going to keep rolling because my goodness, it's almost 10 minutes in. May your picks be winning.